Okay, so this video explores this big question: what is exposition? This question is really important for you because you're going to write expository essays. Um, One thing that's really fun about teaching this class is, unlike a high school class, which has to cover a huge range of content and therefore can only cover it in a very shallow way, I teach one kind of content, expository writing, and we get to go to great depth. One way to describe high school is it's a mile wide and an inch deep, and college is an inch wide and a mile deep. So we are going to get very deep about exposition, and you really need to understand the nature of that word. It is not simple. Just looking up the dictionary definition will not help you understand it. In a very real way, the whole class is exploring this concept of what is exposition, and your understanding of it should grow throughout the class as both a function of what we're reading, of my videos, but also your thinking about this very core tenet to both my class and academic work. Most academic writing in a college setting and in a career setting is expository in nature. And we're going to really dive into what that means. This is a Prezi that I'm sharing with you. You can go back to this presentation. I will put the link in Desire to Learn so that you can see this presentation yourselves. I use a Prezi often for my screencasting because it's an easy way to share what I'm thinking. So, what is exposition? This concept is very old. It's been around for a very long time. In a very real way, you're connecting back to the early roots and origins of academic study when you explore this question of what is exposition or expository writing. So this class has you write 3 expository essays. Those expository essays must be expository in nature. And that's the first hurdle that students struggle with. So what is an expository essay is what we're going to explore. And I'm going to use an example of a common expository topic and talk actually about why it's not expository. So I'm going to use a negative example to teach this concept of exposition. So let's look at the example. The example is, what is hard about being a pregnant teen? Imagine having to write that essay. What is hard about being a pregnant teen? Please write an expository essay that shows what is hard about being a pregnant teen. Now, in face-to-face classes for 20 years, I always picked on some young man in the class to answer this question. I would ask him, hey, buddy, you're 19 years old. Tell me what's hard about being a pregnant teen. And inevitably, I would get answers like this. You get heavy. Young men focus on the body, and inevitably they'll say something about, well, your belly gets big and it's hard to move and you can't get in and out of your car. And they really focus on that. They'd often say something about social judgment, that a teen who is pregnant faces some social judgment. And inevitably, there's some kind of discussion about school is hard, jobs are hard, money's an issue. Those are the 3 most common topics that come up. So I want you to imagine that if you had to write this essay and this is what you wrote about, you shared the things that are challenging about being a pregnant teen are you get heavy, lots of social judgment, and school is tough, jobs are tough, money is tough. Those are all challenging aspects. So let's imagine that was assigned in this class. It was supposed to be around 1,000 words, and you wrote 905. That's definitely within the realm, right? Definitely okay. It had a compelling introduction that grabbed the audience and effectively introduced the topic. So it had a great opening. Imagine this paper, it's supposed to be around 1,000 words. You're at 905. That's perfect. Good introduction. It's got well-organized paragraphs, clear transitions, and sharp topic sentences. So The body of the essay is strong. It has an effective conclusion that explores the implications of the essay. All right, so you got a good intro, you got a good body, you got a good conclusion. It's grammatically perfect. There are absolutely no mechanical errors. So if you wrote that essay in high school, hit the word count perfectly, great intro, great body paragraphs, great conclusion, perfect grammar, what grade would that essay get in high school? What grade do you think it would get? Take a moment to think. Now, you turned it in on time, your teacher read it, you got what did you get back? What feedback did you get back? Now, I was a high school teacher for 15 years. I was high school principal for 6. Okay. So I know what I gave that paper the vast majority of the time in high school. In high school, 95% of the time, that's an A++. Dude, the kid wrote it and turned it in. It doesn't have any sentence errors. There aren't any incomplete thoughts. There aren't any run-ons. Woo, my job's done. Awesome. In college, 100% of the time, that is a 0 point. So this is out of a 4-point scale. That's how you're evaluated at LCC, and that's a very common way that colleges evaluate students. That's a 0 point. It's not a C. It's not a B-. It's not a, hey, you did it, so you get some credit. It's a 0 point. Why? Why is that worth nothing? Now, inevitably, as I would be asking the young men this question, what's hard about teenage pregnancy? I would also be asking them, have they ever been pregnant? And once they got past their sophomoric giggles, they would say, no, I've never been pregnant. And that's the key to why this essay fails. Remember, this essay is supposed to be an expository essay. Okay? This is supposed to be exposition. If you tell me what's hard about teenage pregnancy is you get a big belly, you're judged socially, school is hard, work is hard, and being pregnant's expensive, if you told me those things, you're not exposing anything. You are not telling me anything I didn't already know. A 19-year-old young man knew all those things about teenage pregnancy. Expository writing, exposition, must expose. And I really like thinking about this word, expose, as the central theme for the class. You get to pick your topics in this class. I will not assign them. I will not ask you, please write what's hard about teenage pregnancy. You pick the topics. And the topic you pick must be one about which you can expose for your audience. So let's think about the word expose. Other words that connect to the word expose. Uncover. I really like that. You know, when you think about how most young people have used the word expose in their lives, it deals with uncovering. I know that's a little awkward, but it's true. To uncover, to show something that wasn't previously seen. So exposition must show what wasn't previously seen. Disclose. To disclose something is to share what previously was not shared. Illuminate. I like this word for exposition because it really captures on that image of a light. Expository writing shines a light on the topic. That's what it does. It shines a light. It shows, right? When you think about a show, when you think about a performance, when you think about a display, that's something that people haven't already seen. If they have already seen it, why are they seeing it again? The point of it is it's new, it's different. A display. We put things on display that are hard to see otherwise or that we don't understand otherwise, right? Museums are full of displays of things we don't see in other places. The best word for exposition is that it reveals. Expository writing reveals about the topic insights the audience didn't already have. That is the hardest part of this class. You cannot tell us what we already know about a topic in college writing. College writing reveals. Here's my definition for expository writing. Exposition is writing that tells the audience something it doesn't already know or understand. It explores a topic in a way that invites new thinking, respect, or understanding. It adds to the conversation. It doesn't simply say what has already been said. So much of high school writing is telling the audience what it already knows, is saying what has already been said. When you faked reading that book in high school, To Kill a Mockingbird, Huckleberry Finn, I don't care what it was, you essentially regurgitated what was discussed in class or summarized in Cliff Notes. You have to add to the audience's understanding of a topic. That's why you're writing. In an academic setting, you write to do that, to inform. You don't tell us what we already know. You don't summarize what's already been said. Writing is the act of exploring a topic to reveal it. It's the creation of knowledge. I'm going to constantly talk to you about what college is for. And the history of college is really important. You know, initially college was not a student paying to learn from a teacher. It was a student going to a university to be a scholar. You were a junior scholar at first. You were learning what scholarship was. And you were listening to senior scholars that were the teachers. And that fundamental background still affects how we think about writing. You will enter the conversation about a topic and add to it, not tell me what's already been said. That act is the single hardest thing about this class. It's why it's the first video. You must get your mind around expository writing is writing that exposes and reveals. You get to pick the topics, so you need to think about what can I expose and reveal for an audience? What is something I have a new perspective on or a different perspective on? What is something that means something meaningful and complex to me, and therefore I can reveal it to the audience? This is the first video in many, many videos exploring this concept, but you have to understand expository writing to be successful in the class.